Hello everyone, welcome to this new moon wishes reading. We're going to have our next new moon on Monday, February 4th, and it will be exact at 4:04 p.m. Eastern Time. So we have a whole lot of 4 energy. February 4th, 4:04, and 4 is well known as the number of the angelics, representing angel support, angel energy, a lightness to how we see our world. You don't have to believe in angels. The concept behind it with the number 4 is about finding solid foundations. And more in the age of Aquarius, this is going to come about through our own exploration and through our exploration with one another, as we mix with other people in the various parts of our lives. We tend to hone ourselves better in that process, like a rough cut diamond, and the more that we rub up against each other in different ways, we come to know what we believe in and what matters to us most. And so I feel like this new moon has something to do with that. And it's a time of setting intention. It's a time for this moon cycle, with the culmination being the full moon later in the month. It's a time of just wanting to focus in on a particular area of life. So I want you to think about the term of solid foundations and being light with that. That's what the angelic energy suggests, is light as a feather. Maybe not having a really strict regimen around how you set very solid foundations in your life, but allowing there to be flow as you try things out, and again, as you mix with other people, like a beautiful recipe that you try out many times and you shift the ingredients. Different outcomes happen as you try different things. And as you notice the reactions of others, sometimes that shapes then how we choose to be in our own light, in our own existence here. And my message is always about you watching your own shop and paying attention to how you bring yourself to every situation and trying for your own benefit to be as consistent as you can in how you bring yourself to the world and the experience of you. This is for your sense of freedom, especially emotional freedom, and freedom from the mind and the trappings of I have to behave in this way, or this is tradition, or this is family, and so I have to do these things because that's the way it's always been. The invitation, I believe, with this new moon, with all this 4 energy and this solid foundations feel to it, we are shaping up something different here. We're getting a little more flowing in having solid foundations that can deal with cyclical change, which we all know is the only constant on this planet, is change. Okay? Our Sabian symbol for this new moon is Aquarius 16. That's the culmination point of the new moon. A big businessman at his desk. So this speaks to a really solid structure, and it's about organization, how you literally organize. You are the big businessman. You are the CEO of You Inc. And this is when I always hearken back to your shop, the experience of you on this planet and what you want that to be. And you are the CEO at the big desk making those decisions. So I feel it's really something foundational here. And it does have to do with other people. The big businessman, obviously there's other people implied in that, in the organization. And you have that as well. That's all of these people who are part of your daily life here, in different sectors of life. And so all of them are helping to shape the organization, your shop, if you will. Just like if you owned a shop, a retail shop of some kind, you would be offering products or services to people, and they are experiencing you through that. But you are the businessman at the desk making those decisions. You are the one, this being a big business man, This speaks to our masculine energy, how we make decisions about how we're going to organize our life and how we're going to set a solid foundation for our life, and how we decide that we're going to flow or not with the change that is ever present. All right, so let's get started with our card choices. I do feel like this is going to be, I sense a gentle reading. We will see. Sometimes I think that and it ends up not being gentle. But the card selections are on the gentler side. They're some of what I call my soft decks, which is nice. The first card up is from the Soul Coaching deck. If you were drawn to this card, and you have Sanctuary. Yeah, I have been feeling a really strong vibe of deep, quiet contemplation for this month of February. I do think this is important with this new moon happening at the top of the month. And it's a month imbued with the vibration of love across the planet, with Valentine's Day and the sweetness of life, with chocolate flowing everywhere. This Sanctuary card, I just love the image of this. It is you wrapped up in this beautiful blue blanket. The blue indicating clear communication and also intuition coming through strongly. This says, I am divinely guided gently and lovingly. So my intuition was correct with the cards, at least this one for this week. It is a sense of the big businessman at the desk for you in terms of setting solid foundations for yourself. And again, new moon is a time of setting new intention. This may be a new direction that you're looking to go that could be quite lasting for you, as well as if you want to continue to perfect something that you've started in terms of solid foundation, you're going to be well served to really go at it gently and to really, really listen to your intuition. And by that, I want you to pay attention to the interactions that you do have with others. Because then the work of it, the beauty of owning a shop, so to speak, is that you see the customer interaction. I'm talking in a story here for us. But you experience the customer interaction with your offering, the offering of you, and you could think about that as products or services that you offer. And what is that interaction like? Are you finding it pleasing, and that other people help to sort of flesh out more of who you are and who you want to become? Or do you find that you're always kind of in a conflict mode and always kind of rubbing up against people more like sandpaper than butter, as I like to say? Because we have both, and they're both meaningful. And those sandpaper moments are really helpful to help us define what we want for ourselves, because that doesn't feel pleasing. And I do believe in a universal energy that wants to support us in a way that is loving and supportive, and that we enjoy our time here on this planet. So I just think you need to take the time to wrap yourself in this cozy blanket and to really take in like data, like market data. I'm speaking as my marketer self here, my training. It's marketing 101, that you take a look at how are my offerings being received out there. And if they're not being received in the way I intended, you have the power. You are the big businessman at the desk, as this new moon indicates, that can make the decisions about the foundations of what you're offering in this world. And it's not about other people, actually. It's about your own freedom, that you are being who you are, and that you feel solid and joyful in that offering. Your crystal is my piece of lapis lazuli. This is known to me as the magic carpet. And this is from my air team. So this is about your mentality. And again, look at the blue blanket. I never look at the cards ahead. So my dowsing indicates not only the card decks, and the actual card selection, but also this, the crystal that goes with each one. And so this speaks to getting up out of the weeds and really thinking big picture here. And really think big. This new moon can give you the energy to think big about foundations. And I always know that it is spirit infused when we have these dichotomy kinds of messages, because spirit covers the whole spectrum. So we're talking about the magic carpet invites you to raise up out of the weeds and to really think about, am I creating the sanctuary of my life that the universe wants for me? There's an invitation here for something more pleasing, and that you get to be the one to make that decision. That's what the Sabian symbol is about. You get to do that, and you're market testing yourself all the time. All the time. So take that in as data, just data. And see it as fun, because this piece is also about fun. It is that magical part of you that believes that when you drift off to sleep, that you go on a magical journey, you step onto a magic carpet, and you see parts of the world and energies playing out that our physical eyes don't always see. And that is going on all the time. So there's something bigger here being offered for you, I feel, that is more in this way of sanctuary, but really paying attention to the data that is available to you of how pleasing or not pleasing the various interactions are that you have, and that you then get to make choices on how you shift or change. And that also includes the people who you spend your time with, and how much time you spend with them, and how much time being a little lighter in mind. This is air, the element of air. And this also indicates air. It's communication, our processing ability, and how we talk, and how we listen, and how we learn. So you get to make those choices. And even in the things having to do with corporate structures or traditions or family patterns or relationship patterns, all of that still is a choice. And you do get to make the choice of how you navigate that. And the whole purpose, I feel, for you is to create this greater sense of a sanctuary. Think about that word, okay? And really think and feel your way into what that means for you, because there's some new thinking air. There's a new frame of mind that is being offered to you that has to do with creating a more solid sanctuary of a life. All right. The second card is from the Flower Therapy deck. And this is the red rose. For me, this is always the tops of this deck. All of these in here, of course, flower therapy, are flowers that are depicted. And I just look at the red rose as being the culmination flower. It speaks to this great dichotomy of the beauty of the red rose with the spikes on the stem. Like, it hurts to get to this level. And through our many hurts, our woundedness in life, we get the opportunity here. And I think this is what's being offered. It says, open your heart. Your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed, and you'll be met with the true passion you seek. So I feel like, and this aligns well with Chiron is moving into Aries for real. It moved into Aries last year in 2018, and then it went retrograde and has been back in Pisces. And then this month it will be moving again into Aries. And this is a new day for Chiron. And I bring this up because Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And I've gotten so many strong indications, so many messages through my client sessions, card readings, astrology, in-person sessions. I've gotten a lot of indicators that Chiron just doesn't want to be known as that energy anymore. In this new, it's like a 50 to 52 year cycle where Chiron moves around the zodiac. And Chiron is an enigma because it's sort of, some people think it's an asteroid, some people think it's a minor planet, but it's all based on mythology, the story of Chiron. And I just know that this great centaur, half horse, half man, wants that wild within of the horse energy to be true for all of us, and that we come up out of, with this move into Aries, a new cycle. And many of us may not see another Chiron moving into Aries in our lifetime. For those of us between 50 and 52, we will be experiencing, if you're turning 50 to 52 in the coming year or years, you will experience a Chiron return, meaning it comes back to that point in your chart when you were born. And that is the major shifting point. It's often like the midlife crisis point, like it's a wake-up call. It's like, I've got the chance to really make something meaningful of this life, whatever I have left of it. And there's no more looking at, I've only got this much time, but instead Chiron wants to say, and it's to you too with this, because I'm thinking about those spikes of the rose. Chiron wants to say, you can step up now. You don't need to wait till you have a Chiron return. These can be major endings in our life and major new beginnings. And they're often, I'm keeping it real, there often can be some pain involved in this. However, it's up to you. Remember, this new moon is about the potential to be the big businessman in making the decisions about how you go about looking at your woundedness. Okay, and the beauty of the red rose is this ability to open up, even though the petals are going to drop off the flower. The beauty is in this opening up process. So I feel like there's the new foundations offered potentially for you as you think about your new moon intention. Is, do I have to protect myself so much anymore? Or can I truly open myself up to experiencing life in a much more rich way, a much more open-hearted way? It is literally like cracking open and just allowing yourself to receive and to be an experiential being is the way it's coming through to me. To really take in whatever is being offered, and to not see it as people being out for you, of trying to make your life difficult. Instead, those reflections, kind of like mirrors, are just pointing you back to yourself to say, okay, I need to get clear on that because I don't like how that's going over there. So how do I feel about it? And then that inspires. When your heart gets involved, then you take inspired action. And that's when things start to happen. That's when the manifestation happens. It moves from thought. And that's what I feel Chiron is pointing us towards, is reframing our thought on the outer end of your energy field. How you think about something. You have a thought, and then you attach emotion to it. Then your heart's all in. And then it moves into some type of action, and that's how then manifestation in our physical life occurs. So that thought is sort of the outer layer, and then when it moves into the emotional sector, That's when, okay, we're really moving in that direction now. And this absolutely speaks to the heart energy here. I think the Chiron part of your message has to do with the thinking and watching too, because we're talking about Chiron in Aries, which is a nice tie-in with the red here of the red rose. That red Aries energy is definitely action oriented. So it's really thinking about how you take action, and your crystal is pointing to the emotional end of this. So I'm really getting hits from all levels of that: mental, emotional, physical, meaning action. And then that results in physical manifestation. So this piece is my moonstone, which is known to me as Lucidia. And this is on my water team. So this is the emotional sector of this story. You have a very complete kind of feeling with your new moon energy for you. And it feels like the many layers, as you see in this red rose. There's many layers, and this is perhaps the simplest way to describe this to you, is there are many layers to our existence here, and we have to understand that we are the big businessman that keeps track of, just like departments within a huge corporation. We have the mental department, or we could say compartment. We have the mental group, and then we have the emotional group, and then we have the action group, and then we have like production, that like this is happening. And this Lucidia piece is speaking to that emotional layer of allow things to just come up gently to the surface, and understand that your wisdom is like this red rose. It contains everything you need, and that your world reflects to you. It shows you scenarios and people and emotions and actions and thoughts and ideas that are all for your choosing, like a grand buffet. But that you are the big businessman, and you have access to all of these mental, emotional, action, manifestation parts of the cycle. And so I do feel an emphasis, because your crystal is in the water team, this emotional aspect. And indeed, this is the one that we have to watch all of it, just like a big businessman. But for you, there's a real sense, and this is open your heart, There's a real sense of just allowing things to come up gently, and being lucid in your awareness of what comes up for emotional reactions to things. Because that can help you then to tune into, okay, maybe I then need to go back and shift my thinking, and then that produces a new emotion, and then I want to take action in a different kind of a way. These all kind of hinge on one another, just like in a big corporation. Again, the big businessman at the desk, that's our symbol. So every department depends on one another, just like every petal in the rose is what makes it beautiful. And so know that you can pay attention, you can fine tune, like a businessman does, any part of that process. It isn't necessarily that they go mental, emotional, action, manifestation. You can, at any point in the process, when you're talking about mental, emotional, and action, those pieces of the process before physical manifestation, you certainly can go back and say, yeah, this emotion is coming up in me, and do I want to go and retool how I'm choosing to think about that person, that situation, whatever it is, because this isn't pleasing to me. And this is a foundational thing that we're setting up with this new moon, okay? We're doing big work here in 2019 around using our personal creativity. So that's what I feel. Yours is really related to that process of manifestation, which has been proven over and over and over. You know this. When your heart is all in on something, you take action. You find a way to make it happen, and it happens. It may not happen in the exact form that you think, but when your heart is all in, the universe hears that signal and sends the resources then to make it happen. But you can retool along the way. That feels like the important piece to relate to you. All right, that was a long reading for that one. So the third card is from the Angel Tarot deck. And this is Seven of Fire. All right, fired up. Action. The Seven of Fire says, defend your beliefs and decisions, stand your ground, choose your battles wisely. And as a reminder, again, our symbol for this new moon, a time of setting intention, is a big businessman at a desk. And what I get immediately is this is about being very strong in making a decision to move forward. And even making the decision about whether or not you see things as battles. And does that serve you? Because remember, we've got a lot of 4 energy with this new moon. And that is about angelic energy, and it's about solid foundations. And just, I want you to consider whether or not when you're choosing to battle something, whatever it is, or you're choosing to stand your ground, can you understand that when we do that, whatever we are standing our ground, it means, or battling, we are doing that in defense or in offense against something else. And you have to take into consideration, everything is energy on this planet. Everything vibrates. It is the law of how things exist on this planet. And it is true. That is the thing that is in common with all. And it's different rates of energy, different patterns of energy. And so when you are exuding a certain energy of I'm going to stand my ground, or I'm going to battle something, that you are immediately putting someone else on the defensive because you are in an offensive mode of I'm staunchly standing my ground. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Like there is an us and them kind of energy that is set up. And your crystal is my piece of obsidian. And this is known as Raven. And the feeling I get from this crystal in terms of this message is this always points to deeper wisdom, that the whole thing about battling or standing your ground is very surface. There's something more wise that wants to come forward, that's deeper, that is not easy to access. This is it's raven. So it's like when you look at a raven and you see, when you look at it, you take the time to look at it carefully and you look from different angles at that bird. You see purples, you see deep blues, you see these iridescent colors. But it's taking the time and it's stepping back from judgment that, oh, that's a what's the word I want? A scavenger bird, and yuck. And you have a lot of people have failings about that and bring their judgment into things really, really quickly. And they're actually incredibly beautiful birds. Turkeys are another example that are coming up. And that tells me this is related to abundance for you, because that's what turkeys indicate. And ravens indicate magic. Ravens are the inner magic that we all have access to, i.e. wisdom, deeper wisdom. So it's being willing to look from another angle at something, and to see those magical colors that are actually there. But you have to take the time, you have to be willing to drop your judgment, and you have to look from a different angle. And as I was mentioning, turkeys have these absolutely beautiful colors when you look up close at them. If you ever get a chance, or if there's YouTube or photos online or whatever, or people who hunt turkeys, just the colors they're really magnificent. And just notice, it's a great example because it's applicable to us in our lives, and me included. We easily put all of this judgment. We have this is like, we want to compartmentalize everything. Just like the big businessman at the desk, departments can be thought of, in a corporation, can be thought of compartments. I actually said that in the last reading. So notice how quick, that's how, these are both fire. This is from my fire team and this is fire. But that 7 energy invites you to a deeper truth. The energy of 7 is the contemplative truth seeker energy. There is something deeper for you. You're going deeper with this new moon. You're not willing to just, because when we choose to stand our ground, that is a judgment of my way is the only way. And I'm going to stand here and I'm just expecting, even in me saying that, I'm expecting to get pushback because I'm going to have to stand my ground, or I'm going to have to choose my battles wisely, that I'm expecting battles. These things matter in the things we say and think. It's why I when I went through my cancer journey, I can't, anytime anybody brings up battling cancer, I'm like, I can't do it that way. So when you're talking about me and my journey, I'm asking you to please not talk about me that way. It works for other people, and that's fine. I'm saying for me, it didn't, and it was a good route to go for me. It worked well, because when you get out of a staunch, I'm standing here and nothing's going to blow me down, there is an expectation in your energy that something's going to try to blow you down. It's going to try. The deeper wisdom wants to come through. Those beautiful colors of the raven. A different perspective wants to come through for you. And this, look at all the color in this artwork. I love this card. This is a beautiful deck anyway. For anybody looking to get into card reading, I would highly suggest this is the Angel Tarot by Doreen Virtue. Just look at the colors available to you here. That's what I feel like. It's a bigger selection of options that is being offered. And you're actually, as the big businessman at the desk, it's like you're being given lots of proposals. Like, we could try this, or it's going to take you being nimble though. It's going to take you being a curious, contemplative truth seeker to say, what if there's other ways to go at this? And what if I need to drop my staunch judgment on these things, and I need to see the beauty of the raven, the beauty of the turkey? And what I'm telling you is this is directly related to your sense of abundance. And that's not just in terms of money, but everything that is abundant, that is, just brings you a sense of being full up in your life. The more you can entice yourself to look at all the options, to look at the many colors of life, the many proposals that are making their way across your desk. And those proposals are in the form of your deeper wisdom. But you have to listen. You have to take the time to listen. You have to be willing and courageous to maybe drop an old judgment, an old way of thinking about something. And you have to maybe just turn your head a little bit to take a different perspective, because you can't see the colors of the raven when you stand in one position. Either the bird's got to move or you've got to move. And if you take the initiative to just turn your head a little bit, and what does life look like from here? And we've all experienced that. When we've had a judgment about a certain anything in our lives. People not having enough money, or people who are sick, or people who have a mental illness, or addictions of one kind or another. Doesn't your judgment around that shift dramatically when you or somebody that you care about then goes through that? It is amazing how our judgment shifts, because all of a sudden it becomes personal. And that's what is being offered to you. Everything. You are the big businessman at the desk of your life. And you get to choose anytime you want to take in different proposals. Like, all right, I'm putting an RFP, as we call it in the business world, putting requests for proposals out there. Here's what I'm looking for. You can do this to the universe. Put an RFP out there. I'm looking for new insights. This is the wisdom within. New insights on this problem. I'm taking all proposals, and you get to choose. And there's lots and lots of color to see, meaning options. Lots of options. And that you don't have to stand your ground and choose your battles wisely. You won't have to do that, because there's always new options available. So wouldn't you rather grow as a company, the company of you, your shop? Wouldn't you rather grow than just stay stagnant and like, no, this is my business model and this is what I'm staying as and that's it? And then slowly you start to get decrepit because you're not keeping up with the world. You're not evolving with the world and the tastes and the preferences that this world is always becoming. And guess what? You are always becoming. So that change and openness of options is what's being offered. It's incredibly exciting this year. It's all about creativity, and you have so much available to you. So it's just kind of a shift in your firepower and how you choose to bring that. This is your passionate self and what you believe in. And you can believe in things. I'm not saying to not believe in something, but understand the one concept. We have energy on the planet that is, everything's vibrating, and therefore everything is in a cycle of becoming. It is always, just like nature is always becoming. It's going through these cycles. It's growing and changing and maturing and dying and being reborn and maturing. It's always happening. And so if we're just staying in one place all the time, we're not going to be moving with the cycles of life. So it's tuning into how you bring that firepower into the forefront for yourself, and understanding that can shift. You don't have to staunchly stand where you are for the rest of time. Beliefs can be made more and more. They can become sweeter as life goes along, because you just keep fine-tuning, because the world's going to keep changing and you can change with it. Okay? There we are, everybody. Set your intentions. It looks like a wonderful opportunity to set some new solid foundations for ourselves. Foundations that can offer new opportunity, new ways of bringing a level of creativity that we haven't brought before. All right. And for anybody wishing to have a reading of any kind, I do card readings, astrology readings, and I have a brand new offering, a 1-to-1 type reading called the Blue Sky Experience, that you will see on my site, bluesky-shop, shoppe.com. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.